What's up, DFS players? Alex here, and we are going through two player props for tonight. We have an MLB player prop that's really good, and then we have an NHL player prop. So again, PrizePicks is a really fascinating platform because essentially the way it works is any two picks you select, MLB, NHL, doesn't matter if you're taking the overs or the unders, you will see that your payout doesn't change, right? It's 20 to win 60. You are always going to be getting plus 200 odds. 20 to win 60, which is $40 a profit, plus your $20 stake back. So we've essentially gone through this before, but what that means is any two-pick entry you put together, you're getting plus 200 odds, you have to be winning 1/3 of them to break even on PrizePicks. If you're winning your two-leg entries 40% of the time, you'll be super profitable. If you're winning your two-leg entries, 25% of the time, you will be very unprofitable. So essentially, because you have to win two picks, 1/3 of the time you need to win two picks. What that means is you need to be hitting your player props at a rate of 57.74% on PrizePicks to break even. So to be profitable on PrizePicks, you're hitting your player props 59% of the time, 60% of the time. So what we can do is we can use the OddsJam Positive EV Tool to look for big line discrepancies between PrizePicks and the sportsbooks. Because what you'll essentially see is PrizePicks, right, doesn't vary payouts. If we take Corbin Burns, his over in strikeouts or his under, it will not affect our payout, right? If we go to MLB and we go to strikeouts and then we go to Burns, if we take his over or his under, right, it doesn't affect our payout. That's completely different than the sportsbooks, right? You can see every online sportsbook has the over juiced, right? BetOnline has it favored. Caesars has it favored. All these sportsbooks have Corbin Burns over 6.5 strikeouts favored, right? Which means that they believe the win probability for Burns over 6.5 strikeouts is greater than the win probability for Burns under 6.5 strikeouts, right? Sportsbooks imply win percentages through their odds. So essentially, it would be a disaster, to include Corbin Burns under 6.5 strikeouts in your PrizePicks entry because you can see using OddsJam that every sportsbook is giving you plus money, and you would be getting the implied price of minus 137 on PrizePicks, right? Which is the implied odds they're always giving you for any player prop you're including into your PrizePicks entry. So what you want to do is use the tools on OddsJam to look for line discrepancies between PrizePicks and the sportsbooks, right? So here we can see Nathan MacKinnon over 4.5 shots on goal. We can get this at the implied price of minus 137 on PrizePicks. And if we go ahead and we click into this, and then we go down to MacKinnon, you can see every sportsbook, right, which you'll see here in a second once we get to them, they have the over heavily juiced, right? Pinnacle Sportsbook, the sharpest bookmaker, they're pricing this all the way at minus 169, right? And the under is priced at plus 126. So we can take this market from Pinnacle Sportsbook, the sharpest, most efficient betting market, and put it into a zero vig odds calculator. And what this calculator will essentially tell me is, hey, the win probability, once you remove the juice, remove the vig from the sportsbook's market, is 58.68%. which beats the break-even win percentage of 57.74%. We need to be profitable on PrizePicks. So that's the first prop that I really like. Now, the second one is from the OddsJam Middles tool, right? So this tool is insanely valuable because what it shows us is picks like this, right? PrizePicks is setting the line for Eric Fedde over under 16.5 player outs. That's on PrizePicks. So over under 16.5 outs. Whereas sportsbooks are setting it at 15.5 and they have it juiced towards the under, right? So we're getting a whole additional, player out by using PrizePicks. And again, we found this on the OddsJam Middles tool. All the sportsbooks are setting the line at 15.5 for Eric Fedde player outs, whereas PrizePicks is setting it at 16.5. And the sportsbooks have the under 15.5. It's juiced towards the under, which means, that under 16.5 would be like, minus 220 or something like that. So this is a huge line discrepancy. The sportsbooks are heavily juicing Eric Fedde under 15.5 player outs. And on PrizePicks, we can get under 16.5 in our entry. So this is an insanely profitable MLB player prop that you want to take the under on. And then we want to go to NHL, and we want to go to shots on goal, and we want to lock in MacKinnon. So I'll lock it in. 2-pick PrizePicks entry, which you can see right here. Eric Fetty, under 16.5 outs. Nathan McKinnon, over 4.5 shots on goal. You know, the Nathan McKinnon big line discrepancy was found on the OddsJam Positive EV page, which will compare, you know, other sportsbooks or DFS, you know, lines to Pinnacle Sportsbook, the sharpest sportsbook, and show you where these line discrepancies are, right? And very profitable bets like we can see on PrizePicks. And then the second one was found on the middle tool, which will show you when there's jumps in the line from one sportsbook to another or one sportsbook to a DFS company. And here we can see, you know, massive line discrepancy because PrizePicks is setting his strikeout over under at 16.5, whereas under 15.5 is heavily juiced on the sportsbook. So under 16.5, being able to get this in your PrizePicks entry is a slam, an absolute slam. So 2-pick entry, you know, hopefully you're able to tail it. And again, thanks so much for your time.